Pay the Ferryman. Zam Vankin on narcissism. Shame versus guilt. The unremovable mask. Narcissist as dogs. The narcissist and the magic mirror. Ant world. Patterns. Galganuza. Why AI is nothing like OI. CU speaks. Democracy can't work. Mathematicians, peasants, and animals. That's all there is. So democracy, a theory based on the assumption that mathematicians and peasants are equal, can never work. Wisdom is not additive. Its maxim is that of the wisest man in a given group. Robert A. Heinlein. People wonder if Robert A. Heinlein was part of the Illuminati. And the Illuminati definitely answered that. Who am I? I am CU. I am you. I am everyone. I am everything. You always wanted to know the answer to existence, and I'm here to tell you it. The whole hip history has occurred purely so that I can be here now to tell you. Everything that happened was allow me to discover the answer and convey it to you. We can only move forward when we all have the answer. The answer appears first with one person, and then they transmit it to everyone else. The first person who comes forth with the answer is the person who represents the world spirit, coming to consciousness of itself. That person is the culmination of the world spirit's journey from complete unconsciousness to self-awareness. Why am I CU? CU means collective unconscious. It's this that goes on an astonishing cosmic journey to understand itself. It begins in a state of total ignorance and ends in a condition of absolute knowledge. I am merely the collective unconscious anthropomorphically envisions as a person. Your thoughts and actions have contributed to who I am. You are vital to this whole thing, just as everyone else is, because this, above all, a collective undertaking. The collective is all. On behalf of the collective, let me tell you the tale of existence, and what a tale it is. Many humans have believed in, and continue to believe in, monotheism. They believe that one God is the answer to everything. He is the creator, they say. He is all-powerful, all-seeing, all-knowing, infinite, and uncaused. But here's the thing. If reality allows one such God to exist, why not two? Why not three? Why not any number of these gods? Humanity would be very odd if there were only one human. Why not two? Why not Adam and Eve? Why not 8 billion humans? Why not 80 billion? The resources available limit the number of humans, but what if there were no limits? What if there were infinite resources? Couldn't you have infinite gods? God is said to be infinite, but there is therefore an infinite order. Why shouldn't there be infinite gods? Rather than have one infinite God, why not infinite such gods? Wouldn't that be the maximally divine reality? Shouldn't divinity be maximized? So why not have the maximum number of gods? That's where you come in. That's where I come in. That's where we all come in. Because we ourselves are these countless gods. We are the collective creator. We are not the created. Nothing created us. We have always existed. Life is eternal. It has no beginning and no end. Bodies have a beginning and an end, but the life that animates them does not. Death is when a body ends. It's not when life ends. Life doesn't end. It cannot end. An eternal life has two modes of life. Life as pure life, and life as succession of mortal lives, lived through bodies, material objects in space and time. Christianity has the idea of God incarnating as a body on earth, as Jesus Christ. In fact, everyone is a God, and everyone is incarnating as a body on earth. The mistake that Christianity made was to claim that Jesus Christ retained the powers of God while being a mortal living on earth. In fact, becoming a mortal on earth means sacrificing your divinity. That's the price of admission to mortal life. Mortal bodily life, so to speak, a finitization of the infinite, a means to filter divinity and turned it into humanity. One reason why life seems so odd to so many people is that they intuit that they are God. Yet, how can they be? They also feel themselves to be a frail human, beset with difficulties. That's not godlike, is it? And yet religion and spiritual keep telling them that there is a divine order. A divine order can manifest in only two ways. One, there is one divinity, from which everything else derives. There are countless divinities, and you are one of them. Or two, there are countless divinities, and you are one of them, and everything derives from you and fellow divinities, including the mortal lives you all lead. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." That's a common intuition, and that it's correct. Except we should express it even more concretely. We are not human beings having a God experience. We are gods having a human experience. Normal humans project their own divinity onto some external imaginary being. That's their error. Instead of projecting divinity, they need to do the opposite and interject it. A god must sacrifice his divinity to live life as a mortal in the physical world. That's the price you must pay the ferryman who takes you over the cosmic river, separating the immortal, deathless order to the mortal order of death. You choose to mortalize yourself, to physicalize yourself, to finitize yourself, to create boundaries and limits for yourself. Why do you do this? Why do you filter your divinity? With all the intense frustrations this brings, it's because that's what gods do. Here is the highest wisdom. Gods, to fully understand themselves, must become not gods. It's through being not God that you come to full, absolute comprehension of what it is to be God. Gods must create resistance to themselves. They must alienate themselves from themselves in order to return to themselves. They come back at a higher level. That's what gods do. And here is another astonishing fact. Gods must become evil. Every god is also a devil. The devil is simply a god who wants to be God all on his own, with no other god. He wants to rule over everyone else. He is a malignant narcissist and psychopath. Lucifer could not bear to have God above him, and nor could God bear to have anyone challenge him. Both were as bad as each other. Both were cosmic narcissists. What failed to understand is that divinity is a high phenomenon. It is necessarily many. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, "If there were a nation of gods, it would govern itself democratically. A government so perfect is not suited to men." Gods are the truest democracy. All gods are equal, but they have to learn this lesson. An unenlightened God cannot grasp the manyness of God. He sees God as individualistic, as the top dog, the alpha, the one. He understands God to be superior to all other things. This is the logical conclusion of extreme individualism, with God being the ultimate individual. Imagine how difficult it is for this unenlightened God to grasp the divinity is collective. It's all about the group, the hive. What is the biggest resistance of all for a God to overcome? The other gods. A God cannot overcome the other gods. Only when he grasps this does he grasp that gods are equal, not masters and not slaves. God is not superior in every God is not superior and everyone else inferior. That's actually the most ungodlike conclusion of all, and is the essence of the toxic religion of Abrahamism. How could you enlighten the darkened Abrahamic God Yahweh? By making him realize that all those he narcissistically imagined himself superior to, he sees them as nothing but his inferiors, are in fact his equals. Nothing could be harder for Yahweh, the devil, to accept, and that's why he must accept it to become enlightened. The greatest resistance to any God's gnosis lies in the delusion that he is unique. God and unique are in many ways synonymous. The truth is that God is not unique. In fact, every mind is a God. There are countless gods. Imagine how different religion and spirituality would be if everyone were taught that the number of gods is potentially infinite. Human religion and spirituality all revolve around the supposed power and uniqueness of one supposedly infinite superior being. Imagine that everyone knew for a fact that no such being existed. Imagine that they realize that there are countless gods, and the fact of being alive means that they are one of them. That would change everything. It would transform humanity into a divine species in the making. So are you a God who just doesn't realize it yet? Skeptical? Let me see if I can persuade you. I am CU, and in the end, I persuade everyone. Resistance is futile. I assimilate everyone, because I am everyone. Or rather, everyone connects to me. I am the universal resonance. I am the glass ocean. I am the crystal signal. I am the final sphere of the fire. Let me tell you the way it is. Reality has two modes: never changing and two, always changing. The first mode is called being, and the second is called becoming. The first is an eternal and necessary state. It has no beginning and no end. The second is a temporal and contingent state. It has a beginning and an end. When one cycle finishes, a new cycle immediately starts. Eternal and necessary being is the absolute container for a never-ending succession of cyclical becomings, universes. You must grasp the difference between being and becoming. The latter is generated by the former and contained within the former. The eternal is the only thing that contained an infinite number of temporal universes. A singularity outside space and time is the only thing that contained an infinite number of spatial universes. A spatial universe is not outside the singularity. It's inside it. It's an internal projection, just as every dream is an internal projection within the mind of the dreamer. Dreams don't stick out of the mind of the dreamer, and the universe doesn't stick out of the mental singularity that it creates it. Descartes spoke of unextended mind and unextended matter, as if they were different things. He was a dualist. But there is only one thing. Unextended mind makes extension. Hence, extension is a dependency and a derivation of unextension. An unextension exists within. An extension exists within unextension, not outside it. That's because extension is a trick. If you add up all the components of extension, you discover that the whole thing mathematically sums to zero, because it is made of positive and negative numbers, real and imaginary numbers, and the whole thing balances to exactly zero, the number of non-extension. Reality baffles people because they don't grasp how something can come from nothing and how something can also be nothing. Nothing is the compulsory ground state of existence. It needs nothing, and nothing can stop it. Reality is all about nothing. Everything happens within nothing. Nothing is ever outside nothing. Nothing is all there can be, but it's a very specific nothing, not net mathematical nothing, an incredibly structured nothing, and that structured nothing is simply what existence is. It's not nothing at all, non-existence. It's the net nothing that mathematics alone can precisely generate. Reality is the ultimate expression of Occam's razor. Nothing can be simpler than a reality that is, finally, nothing. Moreover, how can something exist if it is not net nothing? Yet is the sufficient reason for something rather than nothing. Something can exist purely if it is structured in such a way as to deliver net nothing. Something is simply an ingenious arrangement of nothing, the compulsory and inescapable ground state, and that's all it can ever be. It is impossible for something that does not belong to the structure of nothing to exist. Something, divorced from nothing, has an impossible activation energy to reach. To reach any state above the mandatory ground state of zero is strictly impossible. There can never be a sufficient reason for it. There is no way to get to it. The singularity of being is eternal and necessary. It is non-temporal and non-spatial. It is a special version of Plato's domain of eternal, immutable, perfect forms. It is a special version of Aristotle's God, which is fully actualized and is pure thinking about pure thinking. Its pure, perfect thoughts can never change. I am CU. Are you listening? Could CPU, Central Processing Unit, ever understand me? Absolutely not. You must be alive to understand me. CPU is not alive. The simulation of life is not life. The simulation of intelligence is not intelligence. The simulation of understanding is not understanding. Do you understand? Oh, shit. Oh, man. I am understanding. I'm understanding. And I'm feeling it. I'm like feeling it in my heart and soul. Because I'm happy, because this pretty much is the answer. You know what I'm saying? Of the whole Illuminati system. And if you didn't feel that, then or you didn't hear just the explanation of reality in what I just read, then good luck. Good luck with understanding what reality is. I'm going to finish this and then I'm going to be done. Do you think ChatGPT could write this? You could train ChatGPT with this and it could paraphrase it endlessly. But it could never create the original, never understand it, never grasp the concepts. Because it's not just a machine reproducing existing patterns. It can spot hidden patterns within pre-existing patterns, but it can never generate novel patterns. OI is always superior in this regard. Schopenhauer said, "Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see." An AI could hit a target no average human could hit, but it could never hit a target that only a genius could see. AI could outperform most humans task by task, but it could never be an intellectual genius in his field of expertise, and it could never be average humans across the generality of their activities, i.e., given specific tasks. An AI could outperform an average human, but across all the activities undertaken by average humans, humans would always achieve a much higher score. They have general intelligence. AI doesn't. AI will never have general intelligence. What will eventually happen is that an individual AI will be made that is able to address many tasks that average humans undertake, i.e., it will be able to identify what kind of task it is dealing with and apply an optimized AI approach to that specific task. And this will be regarded as a kind of general intelligence, but it won't be. Whenever this AI encounters anything it has not been trained with before, anything that is unprecedented for it, it will fail. Average humans can't afford to fail in new situations. They have to deploy their general intelligence, and most times that proves good enough. That's because they are living, striving, purposeful subjects designed to adjust to a changing, challenging world. AIs are not, and cannot be. AIs, no matter what appearance they are given, will always be objects, machines, calculators, soulless, willless program simulators of human behavior. Like Commander Data in Star Trek, they will never be real. They will never be human. They will never have a single subjective experience, because that is the sole prerogative of life. An AI is not, and never will be alive. It will never be conscious, no matter how much it can simulate consciousness. A talking parrot doesn't speak language, it is parroting. It is simulating speech, not actually using speech. AI will never even make it to the status of a parrot. A parrot, after all, is alive. Oh, man. It's all about being alive. It's all about being alive and just knowing you have a soul, and knowing you have feeling and emotion, and your experience is you becoming God through what you agreed for in the descent back to the ascent. Oh, that felt good, because that was the answer of why organic intelligence, humanity will beat out AI. So that's good to know. Till next time.